Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about how I manage my time. It's the number one thing that everyone always asks me, considering the fact that I always run so many different things. I'm always going full steam ahead, but the number one question everyone says is, Lorraine, how do you do it all? So this video I'm going to be sharing some insights in terms of how I manage my time. I'm keeping this video really short. I'm going to do it in different parts. This is part one, and then when I have some time I will then record the second part to this video as well and pull it out. So do stick around, do like, do subscribe, do share and comment as you have been doing so far. So let's get straight into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to make this video really short and quick, straight to the point. So how do I manage my time? Firstly, there is no hard and fast rule. I do not have a spreadsheet. I don't even have a personal assistant, and by the way, I am looking for one and I do need one. So if anyone wants to be my personal assistant, please get in touch, because I actually am at the point where I need one. But the fact that I manage so many different things, I don't have any hard and fast rule for how I do it. There are just certain strategies I put in place. The first thing I always do is I prioritize. I'm all about prioritization. So I make sure, I know that sounds very cliche, and you'll go to so many different events and people say, how do you manage your time and things like that. You just say prioritize, but it's true. If you can prioritize your time, you can literally do anything. So I think there is a level of prioritization that we all need to have. So what's important for the day, what's urgent. There is a quadrant, and that quadrant is where you have urgent on one side and important on the other side. And you say, look, if you kind of plot out, is this thing important or is this thing urgent? Anything that's important, you should do it. Anything that is urgent, delegate it to someone. You should have people around you that can allow you to delegate that urgent activity so it can get done fast, and then they can move on to the next one. It's important that you spend the time and you get it done. So the first thing for me is prioritization. Making sure that anything that needs to get done and needs your attention, needs your focus, is where you focus your time. And with that said, I also now have moved to a point in my life where I'll also prioritize the things that make me money. I'll be very straight to it. I know nowadays, all my life so far, and I've done a lot of it, it could be right from speaking engagements to whatever it may be, and as much as I love doing those things, we've all got to survive somehow. So I do actually prioritize my time where I make money. That's the long and short of it. The second thing I do is I also make sure I have a team. I think that's very important. I think it's important to have a good team around you. I feel like no man is an island. Even if you have a brilliant idea, don't go at it yourself. There are skills that you're going to lack. It's important to have people around you that have complementary skills. I always say that in University Gospel Choir of the Year, one of the things that I do, for example, there is a friend of mine who's been on the team with me for 10 years. I call her the Aaron to me being the Moses, for example, when Moses was speaking with God at the burning bush, and he was challenging, why have I been given this mandate to lead the people out of Egypt? He was like, I'm not confident, etc. But God reminded him that he has an Aaron. That Aaron has a voice. That Aaron is confident with speaking. So the areas where you feel like you might lack, have people that have the complementary skills around you to also try and help you take on some of the burden and take on the load. It's important to have a team around you. Number 3, build systems. I always think about, if you guys have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, in that book it talks about the cash flow quadrant, and in the cash flow quadrant it talks about the fact that in the world 95% of the world's population make up either an employee or self-employed. And that 95% of the population make up 5% of the world's wealth. And this is a slightly different point, but it helps you to also think about how we spend our time. But we end up working for money and not letting money work for ourselves. And in that cash flow quadrant, when you get it, and just Google it, if you on the left-hand side of the quadrant, as an employee or self-employed, you are basically working for someone. You're working for someone you're clocking in, you're clocking out, and you're working to make money, right? Now on the right-hand side, you've got the notion of a business owner, and you've got the notion of a company. And on the right-hand side, those individuals, basically you can take that person out. So let's use me, for example, take me out, and that company or that business will still run. And that is the goal that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get to a point where we're letting money work for us as opposed to us working for money. And if we can have that mindset, then we can start to focus our time and our energy around making sure that we build business and build companies by making sure that we have systems in place so that when you're not around, the company and the business still operates. So what I do, for example, with my nail and beauty shop in Accra, I live in the UK. How on earth am I meant to be there all the time? But what I've done is I put in systems, right? So right from the IT systems, the CCTVs, so I can monitor staff. So if you tell me that you came into work, but I went onto CCTV and I didn't see you at work, then obviously I'm not going to pay you, right? And I make sure I have the right management in place. I make sure I have the right protocols, so they will know, okay, cash needs to be banked every single day, or to make sure that there are certain reconciliations that need to be done daily. We have an accountant, we have auditors. All of that are in place to ensure that the company does not rely on me. Someone does social media, someone responding to messages, someone's answering calls, we have a receptionist, we have admin, we have marketing, all of those areas are in place, of course, because we're still early stage business. I've got to drive it. But if from the beginning you can put the right systems in place, that way you can track and manage the business from afar and focus your attention and your time on the areas that are going to grow the business. I've told myself now, and I've told anyone that I'm working with, that I've moved more towards being a strategy person. So rather than being an executor, as much as don't shy away from admitting this fact. So far in my life, I've been an executor. And now I'm moving to a point in my life where I'm more of a strategist. I like to think, I like to come up with ideas, I like to drive things and drive other people and empower other people to do it. That's where I am in my life. I'm not the kind of person now that likes to do the execution. I'd rather have a team around me that can do that on my behalf. So, and I've told everyone I work with now that is me. I'm now all about strategy, because that's where the experience I now have leads me towards. So if I can work with people that are able to execute and are executors, it frees up my time so I can focus on the strategy and growing the business and growing the things I need to do. Whether it's work, whether it's my day job, I am a project manager. So again, I'm all about strategy, I'm all about ideas, I'm all about thinking about how I'm going to move to the next step. But I have people that do the work on my behalf. Okay? So, number one, prioritize and focus your attention on the things that are important. If something is important, you do it. If it's urgent, delegate it to someone else. So you've got prioritization, you have got spending your time on building systems. I think that's important. And you've also got making sure that, and for me, I do this as well, I focus my attention on where, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I focus my attention on where there is money to be made. That's where I am at my time in my life. So, how else? And then also having the right team and right people around you. I think that's very, very important. When it comes to your team, it's so important that you empower people. Your team should be better than you. If they're not better than you, you failed as a leader and a manager. And I think it's important that you are cultivating or you are building people up in order to let them lead so that you can, not necessarily fall away, but you can then focus on your attention on other things. So if you've not empowered those people, if you realize that your people are not better than you, are unable to effectively do the job that they're put in their position to do, you have not done your job. So you need to focus your attention on building those people so that then you can then step aside to focus your attention elsewhere. People, again, ask me, Lorraine, okay, well, let's say you prioritize, you've got a team, you are empowering people, you are strategizing, you're building systems, but still, cheap thing for me is my full-time job isn't technically a full-time job. I actually now work 4 days a week. I negotiated with the company that I work for, and I said, look, with all the things that I do, I would like, to spend more time at home. That whole work-life balance has really worked in my favor. I use that as my method to negotiate getting part-time hours, and that is technically part-time. And I also work from home a lot due to personal reasons, and that enables me to use that time that I would have been traveling into work to focus my attention on the things. Lastly, the main thing that I do is I am a big believer at maximizing your 5 to 9. And this is your 5 to 9 in terms of in the morning, before you get to work. So assuming you start work at 9 o'clock, what are you doing in 5 to 9? 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock. And then also in the evening, when you finish at 5, what are you doing at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m? These are time, that's a whole nother day if you combine that you can spend working on a whole nother job. So, and you still have time to sleep. So imagine that. So I think it's important to start leveraging those times and focusing on what you can do. I am not a big person when it comes to spreadsheets and, let's say, systematically planning my day in terms of saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But what I do have is I have a task list. So I always have a diary. So one thing I do is I always make sure, I don't necessarily plan my days to the T, but what I have now is, especially with my role with Growth for Me, sales, I'm always on sales calls. So I have Calendly. For example, Calendly is brilliant because people can then just book their time in my diary when I'm available. And that way we save the hassle of going back and forth saying, oh, when are you free? No, I'm not free at this time, I'm not free. I just send my link to my Calendly and then you can see the slots that I'm available. I think that's brilliant. Secondly, I always write the things I need to do. I always have a diary, and that diary I make a habit of, say daily or every other day, writing down a task list of things that I need to do. What I'm bad at is going back over the list and ticking off the things I've done. But just by the sheer fact that I've written them down, it's a mental note to me to make sure to remind me to do those things. But a development area for me is to make sure I go back over that list and remind myself of the things I need to do. But 9 times out of 10, I will remember and I'll just get the things done. And then for me, it's all about having the mental space as well. I think it's very important. As much as you might have time, I think it's important to have mental space. Something that I haven't done so well this year on, for example, I need to do my PMP qualification, which is a project management, professional project management qualification. Someone can tell me, I'm sure you can remember. I should be studying. But I haven't had the mental time, the mental space to even sit down and do it. So I can make the time. But I think there is also, you need to figure out a way to mentally create space in your mind to actually focus on certain things as well. I remember when I was doing my master, my MBA, so I have a video out about how I studied at Oxford. I had to physically create space and also mentally create space. So I created myself an office in my house, shelves that were empty, ready for books to come there. But I did that in my mind as well, so I had my mind empty so I can use that mental space to start absorbing new knowledge I'm about to gain. And if you can do that intentionally, create space in your mind, it will help you to create space to do the things that you need to do. So that's it. Those are the things, the main things that helps me to manage my time. I will do another video. There are more strategies and things I do. I want to keep this very, very short because I've been realizing some people keep telling me my videos are too long. So I kept this one short, and then hopefully the next part I will talk more in depth about how I manage my time. So thank you for watching this, and hopefully see you on next one.